Okay, this is a pre-introduction into a set of videos we're going to do. Now, we were only going to do hot chocolate. That was the plan. However, yesterday we made really good ice cream base, and then over lunch we were talking about all these ideas we had for cooking eggs well with steam, and so we came up with some other things. So in the next basically hour, we're going to do the hot chocolate recipe just like we said we would. Then we're going to do a very short bit where we freeze the ice cream base that we did yesterday. Then we're going to do something called a chocolate egg cream, which is like a chocolate milk but with an egg added and cooked for extra thickness. Finally, we're going to make eggnog, and we're going to make eggnog with a caramel sauce, and we're also going to make it with some coffee in it.
I love eggnog. I'm very excited for this.
All right, especially when it's boozy.
Yes, exactly. All right, where do we start?
So that's the introduction for those of you who are watching live, and now I will start into the hot chocolate. Okay, so years ago I found the ultimate hot chocolate recipe. At least in terms of results, it was amazing. It was take a chocolate bar, melt it in a double boiler, a bain-marie, which is boiling water with a bowl on it, with a whisk, and slowly add milk over like 20 minutes, making essentially a mayonnaise of hot chocolate. And it was amazing, but oh God, 20 minutes to like, 3-4 minutes of pleasure as you gugged it down. And of course that emulsion is not stable, so you can't make a whole bunch ahead of time and then heat it up later. It doesn't work, it just becomes normal hot chocolate. So ever since then I have sought out the perfect hot chocolate recipe, and really what was going on with that whisk and the 20 minutes was the shearing action of the whisk. That's how you create a mayonnaise, and we right here have something that produces very good shearing. Steam is better at shearing than a whisk is. Now, the thing about steam is it heats. So obviously, if you made a cold mayonnaise, that wouldn't work. You couldn't use steam for that. But it turns out since hot chocolate needs to be heated and sheared, the steam one is perfect for this. So it is a two-step process.
Okay.
And in step 1, which we're going to do now first, we make a ganache, or a chocolate syrup. Now, the only difference between a ganache and a chocolate syrup in this case is a ganache is made with cream, whereas the chocolate syrup is made with milk. Now, depending on how much calories you crave, you can go for either one. We're going to make a chocolate syrup right now, and a chocolate syrup is 2 parts milk to 1 part chocolate. Now, I use 72% chocolate because it's already sweetened at a point that's perfect. You can also use dark chocolates that's unsweetened and then just sweeten it to taste.
So we're starting with a bar of chocolate.
Yeah, we're starting with a bar of chocolate. Now, do not use powdered chocolate. It is the enemy of all good things.
Right.
And the reason is that chocolate, as soon as it's become little pieces, starts to essentially age in the oxygen. Right? And so making a powder, it's very much like pre-powdered pepper, right? It ages and it tastes stale. And chocolate powder, cocoa powder, always tastes stale. So you always want to buy chocolate in bars, and the reason for that is that the cocoa butter, the cocoa mass around it, is preventing the vast majority of the chocolate from going stale. So it'll just taste way fresher. And then there's a second one, which is we need that fat. We need the fat that is in the chocolate, because the shearing action is going to work much better if there's something to hold the suspension, and the fat in the chocolate bars is going to do that. All right,
great.
Could you fetch for me the chocolate bar on top? That one's good?
There you go.
Okay, so the recipe calls for 100 grams of chocolate. Now I've specifically chosen a 70%. I couldn't find 72% Lindt, but Lindt is really nice for this. It has a mix of flavors. Now, it is, however, already opened because Bugs had a chocolate craving the other night. So we have slightly less than 100 grams of chocolate, and I'll have to adjust the recipe for that. All right, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to break this up like so, and I just want to get some parts. The secret to making this work is gentle heating at the end, because if you heat this really quickly, the chocolate needs time to melt. And what you'll have is a chocolate milk that's kind of thin with lots of bits of chocolate in it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very
Yeah,
nice.
and so there's a feature in this machine that let me do this. And I really struggled with this because what I've always done is I've heated milk and then put this into a blender and hit whir, come back a few minutes later, whir again. That totally works for making a chocolate syrup, but it is something else to wash.
Right.
And also we make espresso machines. So let's see
Yeah.
if we can do this all with an espresso machine. So the problem I had is I would heat the milk with this, and then I have to sit there and stir a long time, waiting for the little chocolate bits to melt. And we added a feature quite recently, only came out a few weeks ago, to this espresso machine, and it's called 2-tap steam stop. Now I know there's a whole mouthful of stuff, but let me just explain what happens. Normally when you start the steam, you hit stop, the steam stops, and then about a second later, it purges out. And some people found that stressful because they had to get the milk jug away fast before it purged. So we added a feature called 2-tap steam stop. As the name says, it takes 2 taps to make it stop. What that means in practice is you steam, you hit stop, and then it goes into super gentle mode because it doesn't want the milk to suck back into the milk, up the steam wand. So what I can do is I can heat the milk to the goal temperature almost, just far enough that the chocolate starts to melt, hit stop once, and then this slow steaming will slowly bring the temperature up, and I can give it a bit of stir, and that gives a gentle final heating that lets me make my chocolate syrup without splattering everywhere, without having to come back and do it twice. It's just a single process. So this is totally accidental. It's just super cool that we have essentially like it's a break. It's like you're driving a car really fast, and then you slow down, but you're not yet the stop sign. You just slowly creep toward the stop sign. And that's essentially what the steam stop does, is it stops and creeps forward to your final temperature.
Yeah, and then you tap again to stop it.
Tap again, and then you have made your chocolate syrup. Okay? So could you get me this? I'm already good. But give me the milk, please.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the camera up here. And let's make sure you can see that. You can. Good.
So basically what we need right now in terms of appliances is just a coffee machine.
We need a scale and a milk jug and a thermometer.
Okay.
Okay? So let's move that stuff here so you can see it on camera. That's great. And there's our chocolate. So what I've done is I've turned the scale on to see what this line of chocolate, which is missing.
Yeah, you might want to move your hand so that the reading on the scale.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So this line here is missing because that was Bugs' chocolate craving. And I'm still going to go with a 2-to-1 recipe. So whatever this weight is, I'm going to add...
just double it in milk?
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, maybe you want to just move to the right slightly? Yeah.
And let's just dump this in here.
And you're not too worried if there's like big chunks of chocolate?
That's totally what's going to happen. If you can buy chocolate shavings, then this actually is way easier.
Okay.
But it's not easy to find. You can also find cocoa nibs, or what they use in wholesale or industrial cooking, which are about that size. That will work better than this.
Okay.
All right, here you go. So we've got 80 grams here. So I'm going to add 160 grams of milk. All right, more or less. There you go. Okay. And what we're going to do, let's go back to the front camera here. What we're going to do is heat this to 60 Celsius, which is when the chocolate starts to melt. And then we're going to hit tap, okay? And then we're going to slowly bring it up to 80 Celsius roughly. And giving it a stir once in a while as that slow heating brings the milk up. Now, that will take about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it might be a little boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it would speed up a bit in the...
Okay. And one of the things about this machine, this is the XL model, the Pro model can do this too, is I can just put the steam wand straight in, and that way I can be hands-free. I'm not trying to make fancy latte art foam here, I'm just trying to heat it. So I've already put it in 2-tap steam mode, that is settings, machine, calibrate, and that's the 3rd page. All right, and hopefully, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get this.
Okay, thank you.
Can you see No, you can't see it there. Let's try. That's not bad.
I think it's good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And then I angle it like that.
Yeah.
And you can read the temperature, I think. Okay. All right.
Actually, you can't read if you're standing right next to it because then your shadow is covering it. Whoa.
All right. I need to hold this.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is just put that under a scale.
Oh, smart.
Just didn't have enough. So it's funny. Just go back to camera one here. It's funny. I made this with my normal recipe of 100 and 200 of milk, and that was enough to cover the steam on tip. And when we took 30 grams off, so I'm going to blame bugs for that. So I'm hitting stop. The thermometer's on 58.
It's already turning pretty dark.
Okay, and it should keep doing this little sound. Okay. This is in two-tap mode is the question.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it doesn't seem to be in two-tap mode.
No.
Shoot.
That's okay.
Let's get a towel and mop up my mess.
Alright. The two-tap mode is...
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is on...
This has got old firmware.
Oh, wow. So
Paul.
it doesn't have the two-tap mode. Okay. To be fair, that's from the... We replaced the tablet last minute.
It's actually the machine.
Oh, the machine
It's
itself?
got
Okay.
old firmware in it. Okay.
Okay.
Well.
We can redo.
I'm going to have to refilm the ganache.
Yeah.
But luckily, none of the other videos I want to shoot requires the two-tab steam mode.
All right.
So yes, you need to have current firmware, and shame on us. So you need 1330 or newer to have two-tap steam mode, and if you don't, it doesn't work. The machine that was here had it, but then it went off to the Christmas fair, and another machine came in.
Yeah.
So okay.
Oh, well.
The good news is that I made ganache last week on this very machine when it had the right firmware. So.
And we will, yeah, we'll shoot it again when we have the right phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
All right,
What
can
do
you
we
fetch me the ganache that's right now? So the chocolate milk jug that's there. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so this is a chocolate ganache that I made, and this was made with cream. This was 2 parts cream to 1 part chocolate, and this was 100 grams of chocolate and 200 milliliters of cream, okay? So it's a bit thicker because it was cream instead of milk. Works totally the same way. All right, and I believe, do we have another milk jug? No, this was the jug we were going to use. Here it is. Good. Okay. Great.
All right, so what are we making now, John?
All right. So imagine that we had successfully made the ganache.
Yeah.
Here we have successfully made the ganache. And we're going to make the chocolate milk. Now this can be made way ahead of time. It'll keep a week in your refrigerator just fine. Essentially, it's 2 to 1, then 2 to 1 again. So 2 parts milk to 1 part chocolate, or 2 parts cream to 1 part chocolate. And then when you make your hot chocolate, it's going to be 2 parts milk to 1 part of this. Now that is really to taste. If you really like your chocolate milk to be like little shots and you like it really strong, then you can do 1 part ganache to 1 part milk. And the same thing if you like it more milky, 4 parts milk to 1 part chocolate, whatever works for you. All right. So we're going to get the scale back out, and I need the milk again.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
I don't think we need that anymore.
We don't need that anymore. All right, so here we're going to do, let's see, let's do 60 of chocolate and 120 of milk for 180 total beverage, which is about a normal latte.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start with the chocolate. And let's put that on camera there so you can see that's about half of what we need.
We want 60, yeah?
60, there you go. And then we're going to add 120 of milk to get to a total weight of 180. Okay. Now, Now with this, I am also going to take the steam wand and I'm going to put it at its lowest flow rate possible. And that's because I really want to get as much damn foam as I can get. And this isn't really about microfoam. I'm okay with coarse foam. I just want lots and lots of foam. I'm not making latte art. The foam is just delicious. So in order to do that, can we put the tablet screen up for a second? And here on the flush page, okay, I'm going to lower the flush flow rate down.
Flush or steam? Yeah, it wasn't steam.
Here on the steam page, I'm going to turn the steam flow rate down to its minimum. And I'm going to use a thermometer. And I'm basically going to heat this like a latte, which is to about 60, 65 Celsius.
Okay? And we're still go steam.
I'm not going to go steam here because I am going to try and have the steam wand be just above the tip in order to make just crazy amounts of foam. And here I think, let me see what I'm doing, not so much.
You can get a bit close. Yeah,
that's probably better.
There is good.
Okay, so let's do that.
Yeah, we can't really see the temperature, but that's fine. We can just...
Yeah, I'll let you know. So it's at 25 Celsius now, and you can see the cocoa melts very quickly. See how the milk has already changed color? And that's because we already have it in the ganache. And if you don't make a ganache, this doesn't work at all. Okay. And I am lowering the pitcher over and over because this is making a lot of foam.
Yeah. So we stopped at exactly at 60 Celsius.
Stopped at 60, yes. Okay. And here we are. Could I get 4 cups? The crew get cups as well. All right, and let's go back to the top view again. So there's 180, and see if my numbers are right. Is that 45 each? I think that's right.
Nice. And what cup is this?
This is the Doppio cup, which we also sell.
Nice. Here's an off-script question. What booze can I put in this drink?
All right, we're going to talk about booze in just a second.
Okay.
So that's what that looks like, and you can see there's a bit of foam there, and here's our reaction shot.
Thank you, sir. It smells nice. Oh, that's delicious.
Now, I know it doesn't have any booze in it, though. So...
I mean, we are working. I am working. So probably should not be drinking. But this is really good.
All right. And I'm going to bring one over here.
Usually it tastes kind of watery. Like, there's something always off when I make it at home because it's powder.
It's powder, yeah. And also that foam is giving you a whole bunch of mouthfeel. Which you're just not used to getting.
When you were talking about foam earlier, I was actually curious why do you even care so much about foam, but now I get it. It's a different mouthfeel.
The mouthfeel is like chocolate mousse, right? If you just think about chocolate mousse as being a gorgeous thing, and chocolate's quite intense.
Yeah.
So this works really quite well.
I love this.
Now, a really common thing to add to chocolate milk is vanilla.
Yeah.
Okay. And the nice thing is there's a whole bunch of boozes out there that are aged in oak, and oak gives a vanilla flavor. So if you could go over there and grab the rum, which is right in front, yeah, exactly. So this is called Don Papa from the Philippines. It is crazy vanilla. It's so vanilla that I actually can't use it in cocktails. But
it's too sweet, eh?
It's not that it's sweet. It's that it has so much vanilla flavor. I don't think it has much sugar, but it is amazing in ice cream or anything that vanilla would go with. So let me just try this. Yeah, it's good hot chocolate.
It's very good.
All right.
Another thing that I always mess up making hot chocolate is that it's too hot.
Yeah.
And this is exactly, I realize now the right temperature is about what?
65, 60, 65,
so it's basically the temperature of a latte.
It's exactly the same issue because this is, after all, milk. Okay, so I would say a shot is 30 mils. This is a small amount. I'm going to put maybe let's see if 5 mils is good.
You're having that. I'm not having I just finished mine.
All right.
Uh-oh. We've got some comments. Yeah, you guys can go ahead. Tell us.
Here is, but actually, so Paul has a very strong reaction to alcohol. Alan, how much do you react to alcohol?
For you?
I'm feel it's a bit
There's no alcohol.
No alcohol
in your
now.
drink.
So I'm thinking about putting alcohol in your drink is the thing. So this was, I added 5 mils of rum to a drink that was about 40 mils there. So I'd say about 10% is what I added, and that's about right. It's added a whole bunch there. Here, we're gonna, you're the one who just came out from Thailand, so he's got cooties.
Sure, I do.
I have never left the sanitary cordon of Hong Kong.
That's very nice.
That's really good.
It's very pleasant.
Yeah.
And the vanilla, I can tell now.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It actually doesn't really overpower it. It's like, it's just the right balance.
It tastes right. The weird thing about vanilla and chocolate is it just tastes like it should be there.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So grab the other bottle there. That's called Disaronno. This would be my other favorite alcohol to add to chocolate. So this is called Disaronno. It's an almond flavor.
Huh.
It's also called Amaretto. It's the brand of the same stuff.
Is that like a brandy?
It is, so it is made, I believe, from peach pits is actually what it's made from. So cherry pits, peach pits have a almond flavor to them.
I didn't know you can make alcohol out of pits.
You can. You can.
Okay.
And I've made them from cherry pits, and you get a really strong almond flavor. And if you know the dessert called clafouti, which is baked cherries in essentially a kind of crepe batter.
Way out of my depth here.
That's fine. But anyway, you take like a crepe batter, which is just flour and milk, some butter, and you put cherries into it, you bake it, you get cherry flavor, but you also get a strong almond flavor.
Yeah, okay.
And that's from the almond pits. So peach pits are a little bit better because they don't have anything toxic in them, which cherries do. So this, I believe, is made with cherry pits and some other things too. It's of course a secret recipe, but there are other people making it.
Are we putting it in the cruise drinks?
I think they're nervous. and besides, we have several more shoots to go.
Okay, fine. All right.
So about 10% by volume of this alcohol, or the other alcohol, is about right for diluting it. All right, can we put that back? We are going to make some more chocolate milk in our next video, except it's going to be a chocolate egg cream. So same basic idea, but with an egg cooked into it. That's going to give us even more thickness.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching this video on chocolate milk, and let us know in the comments how you fare trying to do it.
This was fun.
All right, any questions?
Yeah, we have, I think, some comments.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
Someone's saying, you're saying mLs, but are you measuring in grams?
All right, so the question was, I'm saying mLs and grams. Water in ml and grams is equal, right? So 100 mils, 100 gram is the same. You're right. I'm weighing because weighing is going to be more accurate for anything that's foaming. So if I'm pouring, for example, a foamy chocolate mix or milk that's got foam, if I'm using it measurement lines, there's no hard line for me to see. So I'm always going to weigh things as being more accurate. And let's just say that, for example, the weight difference between milk and water is negligible. 100 grams of it will be about 100 mils in both cases.
Okay.
That's it?
That's it. You guys were laughing at something else.
Yeah.
You can tell us. It's fine.
After the doozy, someone wrote, "Someone is getting fired."
Wait, is it you or me?
That's my reluctance to say it out loud.
Nice, nice.
All right.
All right, we're staying on the live stream.
Yeah, we are staying on live
until
stream.
the next shoot. So you guys can hang out with us. And
We're going right into it.
we're going right into it, and feel free to leave comments as well. And even if they're uncomfortable for the crew, we'll read them as long as there are no swear words.
Okay.
All right, what are we doing next?
Okay.
Eggs.
All right, we're still shooting. So in this video, we're going to try a modification of the hot chocolate recipe that we made in another video, where we use the steam one to make a nice thick cream to it. And if you remember, there was like, I don't know, like 3-4 millimeters of foam on the top, and it had a pleasing body, pleasing chocolatiness.
You can see here now.
And not there.
Yeah.
On YouTube, here.
Yes, exactly.
Wherever we put it. I know we're really giving confusing signals to our cameraman here. It's terrible. And And what we discussed, and there was also a question yesterday, was someone asked, can we cook eggs for other kinds of sauces? And in fact, we made an egg custard for making ice cream. And I seem to remember, and I Googled it, are there chocolate milk traditions out there that use eggs? And it turns out there is a Mexican tradition that is a little bit weird.
Okay.
It's chocolate, milk, chocolate, a raw egg, and a banana, which is optional but usually used. And they don't cook the egg.
So a raw egg, like the whole egg, not white.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I've never tried it, but you know, someone's doing it, and I did find someone who made a chocolate egg cream. Now they made theirs pretty thick, almost like a custard. But I thought, why can we not do this? Why can't we use egg to thicken a chocolate milk recipe, but just keep the thickening under control, so it gives us some more body? And specifically, the reason I'm thinking of this is when I was a child, and I remember my nanny in Spain, we would be in Spain and she would make Spanish hot chocolate. And Spanish hot chocolate involved flour. They would actually make a hot chocolate, but then they would add flour and whisk it
Just
in.
give it body?
Body, and it was practically fondue, but it wasn't the chocolatiness of fondue, because it didn't have that fat. But what you would do is then dip your bread in it.
That sounds delicious.
It was pretty awesome and very, very time consuming. And I don't think we could do anything with flour here. We can try it someday.
Sure.
I don't know. I think that flour needs higher temperatures, but we can try other thickeners.
Yeah.
Today we're going to try an egg. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this chocolate ganache that we've already made. This is 2 parts cream to 1 part chocolate, and it is quite thick. All right, but it is going to melt very quickly. And we're going to mix that with an egg. And
That's it.
And we're going to then blend it and heat it and drink it.
Okay.
Okay?
I gotta say, I'm a little nervous about this one.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to run and get the blender, which I realize that the blender is currently holding the ice cream recipe.
All right,
So
okay.
we have a second blender.
It's okay, I'll keep their attention.
Okay, and then let's take that microphone there and just do that. And I'll be back in 1 minute.
Cool. All right. Hello, I'm Mohammed. If you have any questions, probably the most common question you have is, what do you do in this company? And the answer is, I don't know. Next question.
This is your moment.
Yeah, exactly. I can make bad John impressions, maybe. Maybe not. I'm not getting any nods from the crew. Hell bent on getting fired. Yeah, you can hear Paul in the back. You've seen him on many videos. This is very exciting. I like the light-hearted ones.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
To be honest, like I'm a little nervous. Like putting egg and like pretty thick chocolate saucy thing is.
I noticed you taking a step back.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah.
I would do the same.
Yeah. We have great crew behind the scenes. Paul and I kind of take turns. Usually when it's something that is not about coffee knowledge, I step in because clearly you guys know by now I don't know anything about coffee.
Someone says,
There you go.
can you dance?
Oh, can I dance? Ask that question again after we do 2 more rounds of boozy drinks. The answer will be different. For now, no. But do ask again in half an hour.
You could do the Macarena, that's easy enough, he says.
Okay, play the song, I will do it. I haven't heard the song in many years. Right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty close. Yeah. Sorry, John, this turned very quickly to OnlyFans. I've been getting requests to do the Macarena and stuff.
I was going to ask you to put your shirt back on. All right. Can I get camera 1 so I can see if that is on
you're
camera?
on 1 now.
Sorry, top camera.
Yeah, just push up a bit. Yeah, you're good. Nice. All right, through the power of the magic of editing,
Yes.
we're back.
We are back. All right. Let's go back to camera 1 here. All right, we are now going to make a chocolate milk that's been thickened with an egg. Now, I saw on the internet someone called this a chocolate egg cream, but then again, they thickened it more like a custard. So let's just call this a chocolate milk with an egg in it.
Okay.
Till we come up with a better name. Now, I've got a blender here, and the reason I need the blender is that I need to make that raw egg blended with milk before I heat it in the steam wand. Otherwise, I'll just have a poached egg on the bottom of the milk.
That's what I was worried about.
That won't be too yummy.
Yeah.
So could you get me an egg?
There you go.
All right.
1 egg for you, sir.
1 egg.
So this obviously you can also scramble by hand. If you
Yeah, you could just use a whisk.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just lazy.
Okay.
Okay, so I am going to do the same recipe as before. I'm gonna add just a little bit more, so we're 100, 100, 100. So I'm gonna do 100 ganache, 200 of milk. And probably that is not visible.
It is visible. Yeah, you're good.
Good. So this is going to be 100.
Now it's not visible.
I'm blocking
the
it.
other side. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah. Looking good.
Okay. I don't know why I'm being so precise here.
Yeah,
It
there you go.
doesn't really
You
matter. All
Alright,
right.
I can take this.
Okay. And I need milk, please.
Yeah. There is a little bit left here, and then there is another one.
Okay. Now I'm mixing this together. I don't need to. You could either mix together or just do the milk and the
egg. Okay.
Okay.
So how much milk are we adding now?
We are adding 200, so I need the other milk as well.
Okay. Switch. There you go.
Okay. I'm just giving that a quick stir, but it doesn't really matter if there's chocolate on the bottom of this, like
Right.
all over the spoon, because we're going to heat that all
With the
in a
heat,
second.
yeah.
Doesn't that look delicious?
It does.
So one of the things I saw in my research that horrified me was a recipe for scrambled eggs with chocolate and banana in it. We will not be trying that here.
That seems like a lot of chunks.
That's just, it sounds like what you see in what's called Lan Kwai Fong at about 3 in the morning after a night of heavy drinking.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Hong Kong, you know what Lan Kwai
Yeah,
Fong
so
is.
if you are doing props and you are doing props for a drunken movie show or TV show, definitely I'd say scrambled eggs, banana, chocolate. That's a perfect you know what. Okay. So at this point, I'm gonna just blend this. Okay.
That was quick.
It's super fast. We're just trying to get that 1 egg to be mixed in. And at this point, the egg hasn't added any thickness because it's not been cooked. Okay, there you go, sir. We do the same thing, except so one difference here is the egg isn't really going to thicken until about 80 Celsius. So I'm going to heat this hotter than I would a normal latte. Well, that's something to just keep in mind, because I do want the egg to thicken.
So what temperature are we aiming for now?
I'm going to go for 80.
Okay.
I think if I go to 90, it's going to just be too cooked.
Okay.
We're improvising. We've never done this before. And it might be that we're okay with the milk not having not being as thickened as it could be by the egg. So the egg will be cooked by the time we hit 68, I believe. It'll be fully cooked, but it probably won't thicken fully until we hit 80.
Are we still going with the lowest flow rate?
So we don't need to have a low flow rate. It's a good point here.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a 1.0 mils flow rate and then steam. Okay. And I am going to go hands-free, but I'm going to give it a little bit of gap.
Oh wow, there is already like really nice swirl going
It's a real nice swirl, and it's super thick and viscous.
Yeah.
I suspect because it's already thick that when it starts to hit the higher temperatures, it's going to be really thick. And that's the only thing that's got me nervous.
Right.
Is I was trying to figure out how much egg to how much liquid.
Yeah.
Because if it goes too thick, we end up with a custard and then we won't want to drink it. Right, we are at 50 Celsius now.
Yeah, it's showing the temperature as well.
Great. And I'm looking at this, and I'm assuming you are too. You can see it churning, and I think we'll see when it starts to thicken. And right around 65 Celsius is when sous vide eggs really start to cook. And what I'm looking to see is this rising? And it's totally rising.
Yeah.
Right. It's.
And got rid of all the foam on top as well.
Right. I am keeping my finger here because I don't want to make a mess.
So you're still aiming for 80. Hopefully, but
I think I am going to stop here because see how much foam?
Yeah, and then the foam is back.
Yeah, and the thing about the foam is as the egg is thickening the mixture, we're going to get more foam. So we know that we're cooking the egg in by virtue of the foam rising. Now that was 200 mils, right? It was about 300 mils total.
Correct.
Right? And this is a 600 mil jug, and it is full. So it has expanded by double. By twofold.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's
do some cups.
Let's get some more cups. Do we have some there, or do we need to wash some?
Yeah, we have two. No, we have two.
Okay.
Two clean ones here.
Okay, great. And I've got one for the peanut gallery.
Okay.
You and I can have our own cups.
Sure.
And so grab the other one there. And what I want to see is let's do the top one initially.
Yeah.
And let's see if you can see just how thick this is.
Oh my God.
It's pretty thick. It's just 100% foam.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's go to the front camera. Okay, and you can see that's quite different. It's very light because it is just all foam.
Yeah.
Now that's going to be probably awesome with some booze in it.
There you go. More rum.
All right. Now it might be too hot.
Yeah, it actually smells very nice too.
It does smell nice.
I'm sure like the guys in the back also.
Well, because you know what we've actually basically done right here is a chocolate ice cream base.
Right.
That's what we've done. So we're essentially slightly thinned out chocolate ice cream base hot, which doesn't sound like a bad thing.
No.
All right, here we go.
It's very nice actually. It's not that hot by the way.
Not that hot, good.
No. It's like hotter temperature than the first drink, but you can drink
Well,
it.
in the end, I heated at the 72 Celsius because I chickened out, and also it was going to the very
I think he
top.
stopped at 77 actually.
77?
Yeah.
This is 76, so you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably at 77. Sharp eye there.
Nice.
All right, don't drink it all. We're going to add some Disaronno to it.
Okay. Thicker body than the first one even. Really nice, like there's not, you know, that sometimes the sweetness is too much and it's not kind of like, you can't even finish a drink like this, but very balanced.
Oh, that is gorgeous. But it is a lot more like a souffle.
Yeah.
And I would probably say I would have cranked up the chocolate on this. And the reason is there's so much air in this now that the chocolate is a little bit less noticeable.
Yeah.
It depends on your flavor, your
actually, I
preference.
like it this way.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm not actually a big dark chocolate guy.
Right.
So if it's too much chocolate, to me, that's a little, like, overwhelming.
But the body is great.
The body is great.
So I would say this still tastes like a traditional chocolate milk. And I think
thicker, like richer.
Yeah, and I think my brain is going toward souffle or chocolate mousse, and so I'm thinking more chocolate. So you can decide whether you want to do a 1-to-1 ganache, like 100 mils of milk, 100 mils of chocolate with 1 egg, or what we made here, which is 200 mils of milk, 100 mils of chocolate, and 1 egg. So
Delicious.
I think we're going to do one more little hack.
Yeah.
Here, we're just going to add a little bit of booze.
Okay.
And this time, let's go for the Disaronno.
Here you go. That thing I never had before.
This is like keeping up with the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Let's get the vodka shots going.
Unsponsored video.
All right. And I'm going to go for the same, roughly 10%. So I'm going to go for just 5 mils. Okay, 4.2, 4.3.
I mean, the good news is that it is Friday.
It is Friday.
And we're filming at almost 4 p.m. Hong Kong time, so we're good.
I'll say. So I like that because it's got a bit more flavor for me.
Oh yeah, that's actually, it's better than the
Yeah.
first drink, because the first drink, the vanilla was a little much. This also, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
'Cause the first drink you can't taste alcohol. This you cannot.
It's
actually,
true.
if you didn't put alcohol, I probably wouldn't notice.
It's true. I mean, obviously it's warmer, so the
Yeah,
alcohol's hiding it. The
Yeah.
other thing that's nice is all
The
these bubbles.
aftertaste now, I can taste.
Yeah, the bubbles
Yeah.
are exploding.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot of smell, and you can
Yeah.
really, you can smell the almonds
Oh yeah.
On-
that's
on the
lovely,
nose.
actually.
because of all that foam.
Because it smells exactly like the liquor itself.
Yeah.
Huh.
So there you go. Chocolate milk thickened with an egg, heated on an espresso machine. Liquid souffle.
We can go with that. Little party trick for you next time over the
Let's call it a liquid
Christmas,
souffle. Liquid
holiday.
chocolate souffle.
liquid chocolate souffle.
Give it a
Yes.
try. Let us know how you get on with this crazy idea.
Cheers.
All right, now we have a quick little short where we're going to make ice cream.
Yes.
Now, a few minutes ago, the two of us were making a caramel sauce about an hour ago.
Yeah.
That caramel sauce should be pretty cool now. I'm going to make a caramel ice cream. So,
Salted caramel.
Salted caramel ice cream,
Yeah.
exactly. So back in 2 minutes, we're going to go fetch the salted caramel we just made from the kitchen.
Before we go, do we have any comments?
Oh yeah,
questions?
sorry. Any questions on
just
chocolate egg?
related.
No. Just
Okay.
right.
Cool. All right.
okay.
Then we'll both go get the ice cream, so you guys will just see.
By the way, there is the Decent Espresso drinking game. If you haven't been told yet, every time we drink alcohol, you have to drink. You have to take a sip. So I think you're 2 shots in,
Yeah, we're
please.
at 2 shots. So please, yeah.
So those of you who haven't been following along, shame on you. This is your 2-minute warning to go to the pantry, go fetch some high proof, and catch up. See you soon.
See ya. Hello, we're back.
Paul's got some questions he's going to pass from you to us.
That's right. So,
Here,
did
come
the
this way.
hot chocolate have the whole egg or just the white?
The question was, did the hot chocolate have the whole egg or just the white? I always use the whole egg because the white, if you blend it and you heat it gently like this, does cause a lot of thickening power. Now, you can, of course, use just egg yolks, but A, it's wasteful, B, it always just turns out well. I like using the whole egg. And it's the same thing with the ice cream base. Traditional recipes are just yolks. They add a lot of richness. But the egg white, well, you know, when you boil an egg, the egg white is quite thick. And so I think bringing in both of them makes it a lot more solid.
Was there any egg smell during the heat up?
The question was there any egg smell during the heat up? Absolutely no egg smell whatsoever.
No.
No, and I think that's because we're really at a pretty low temperature, right? We're maxing at about 70. We're far from at any point at which the egg is actually cooking. Even the steam one, you can see the tip might have a little bit that's stuck to it because the tip is the hottest bit. The tip is coming out at 160 Celsius. So there's steam right before that inside the tip, and as it comes out, it drops to 100 Celsius because there's no atmospheric pressure, and then it's just steam. But the entire wand is cool touch, so it's not going to cook the milk at all. Nothing's going to stick to it. Only the tip is the issue.
And just a general comment for the festive season, it would be interesting to use ruby chocolate, probably resulting in a nice pink color.
So the suggestion was ruby chocolate, which I don't even know what that is.
I was gonna say, I don't know what
It's
that.
I think it's a particular type of cocoa,
All
and,
right.
and it actually produces a rose pink hue.
Oh, that sounds
instead of
fun.
Brown, yeah.
Okay, and it's not cocoa fat. It's actually
It's actually
cocoa.
actual cocoa.
Okay, that sounds fun. Okay. All right.
All right, so in this video,
All right, so we are back. We were just making a hot custard that we heated in here. This is our ice cream base. It is the next day. We've taken it out of the fridge and we haven't touched it. Now, I don't know how thick it's gonna be. I don't know how clumpy it's gonna be, right? And so let's see. So I'm gonna put a spoon in. Whoa,
it's
right? It's really
Super
thick. And if you remember yesterday,
yeah.
it wasn't that thick. Now, this is typical, and if you look on this camera, in fact, I'm going to go to the other camera
Yeah.
here. And you can see
Yeah, you can
here.
go in a bit more and maybe
Let's go
lower
over
down.
here. Okay. You can see it's almost like a scrambled egg, right? It's very thick. Now, what's going to happen here is this is essentially extra thick, and the thickest stuff is on the top. You see as I stir it, there's some thinner stuff here on the side, and then the thicker stuff here. So we're going to do...
Do you think it's a good idea to put it to blend for like a few seconds?
We're absolutely going to blend it.
Yeah.
That is an absolute must. We're going to blend it for two reasons. One is, right now this is unflavored and it is unsweetened. So this is just milk, cream, and eggs. So it's 2 eggs, 250 mils each of milk and cream. And then we cooked it. And so this is what an egg custard looks like. Actually, I was in Milan, Italy, eating gelato, and I was surprised to see right behind the counter that they were buying this ice cream base, and then they were just adding flavors to it.
Right.
So that way they didn't have to do any cooking. They just mix flavor with ice cream base.
Yeah.
It's way better if you don't buy it.
Yeah, just make it yourself. And turns out it's very easy as well.
And that basically tastes a little bit like unsweetened ice cream and a little bit like scrambled eggs.
Okay.
Right? It's basically creamy scrambled eggs, but very creamy. So what we have here is what we're going to flavor with. Now, this is a caramel that we made about a half hour ago. And this was 500 grams of sugar and a liter of cream once the caramel was done. And we are going to splice in how we made this already so you can see. But basically, we just fiery hot the sugar until it melted, it turned into a caramel, brown, and then I added cream and whisked like hell. And then I put it in a bath of cold water, so a half hour later, this is actually room temperature. Now, this tastes amazing. When I finished it, it was cool. We also added 4 pinches of salt to it, and that was to taste. This stuff is so crazy good that you could actually just eat it straight.
Yeah. It's actually, yeah.
So what we're going to do...
how good it is, because it's a lot of sugar, obviously.
It is just sugar with some cream. And the cream obviously gives us this great sauce, like so, but it also it helps smooth everything out. And here we've got a blender. Now, one thing I don't really know is how much of this to add to this. And I just always do it to taste. Now, what we can do is we can get our scale out and keep track of what we're doing. And that's probably a good idea. That'll be helpful to you guys. I'm going to start with some amount, and then and then we'll add more if it isn't strong enough. Now, hopefully, when I do that, can the camera see? Now it's a little bit obscured.
Yeah, there you go.
You can see the weight now, so I'm going to do that. And all right, what you could do for me is, let's put 100 in. Now just tell me, I'm not going to be able to see it very well. So I'm going to pay attention that I'm not making a mess.
Yeah. Wait, what was the original?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Shoot. All right, hit tear for me. Lift your finger off. Hit tear.
Hold on.
There we go.
Now it's tear.
Should have teared it. All right, I'm going to add 80 more. I'm going to assume that was about 20.
Okay. And 5 more, 4 more, just a little bit more.
Okay.
I think you're fine. It's at 79.
And then that blender is visible, which is great. Let's get the lid for that, which is right over here.
Yeah.
And I don't have any solution here other than actually tasting to see if it's right. So let's go. We need to plug it in and turn on.
Yeah, it's not plugged in. Let me see what is actually...
So you can unplug this big one here. Look at that now.
Okay. All right, you're good.
All right, here we go. Yeah, it's not going to be totally mixed in yet, but that's okay. It's going to take a couple tries.
Do a taste.
Yep. Let's get a spoon. And then we might add another 100. But what I want to see also is, see, that is now quite a bit thinner.
Yeah.
That now looks like eggnog, basically. Okay. And I'm just going to taste that. It's nicely sweetened, but I'd say it needs a whole lot more caramel flavor.
Oh, okay.
So I am going to double that. Put another
So
100
there,
mils in.
and we would put 100, another 100?
in, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. That's, yeah, basically 100.
We've gone 110.
That's okay.
Close enough for government work, as they say in the US. All right. Back again. So we're at 200 mils of caramel. And obviously if you're using sugar or vanilla or something,
Yeah, there you go.
there we go. I'm also noticing the color looks a lot more
Yeah,
like what I would
darker.
expect.
It's getting darker.
All right.
Try this spoon. I'll try this one too.
Okay. That is yummy, but I think it's still a bit too mild. I could basically just drink that now.
Yeah, I think you can add a little bit because obviously you want it to be proper sweet. Now it's like for people who don't like something that is too sweet, but I think ice cream, you gotta make it sweet, right?
Yeah, and it has a nice caramel flavor.
Yeah.
We are going to try and make
Delicious.
eggnog, and I feel like that's a good quantity
That
of
is
sugar
actually, yes, agreed.
for eggnog. Okay.
Which would be, we added basically 200 grams.
Yes, and now...
I can do another 100.
That's what I'm going to do, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you're good. 98 grams basically. I think that would do.
I think we're going to be there too. Yep.
There you go.
Thank you. It's awesome. So
That's
good.
it. That just hits the spot.
Yeah, that tastes like
Yeah.
caramel ice cream now.
Yeah.
All right, let's put that
Brilliant.
away.
Yeah. So now to recap, we put 300 grams of salted caramel.
Yes.
And-
Into, and that caramel itself was 500 grams. That was caramel. It was 500 grams of sugar with a liter of cream. That's what that was.
Yeah.
And this ice cream base, it started its life out as 250 mils or grams of milk, 250 grams of cream, and 2 eggs. And you can see, if you look at the other camera that shows both of us, there you go. You can see it is full to the rim. And remember I was saying when the batch freezes and it gets full of air, it's going to use a lot more volume. You can see we're already maxed out, even though this is supposed to take well over a liter. We only started with 500 mils originally. So it's
Just
already
out
double.
of curiosity, it's pretty much exactly at 1,500 grams.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. If you could
Yeah,
try and
plug.
find a plug for that. So we
Yeah.
don't need the blender
Yeah.
right now, and we're probably going to need to move the ice cream machine back.
Sure. Ice cream machine is plugged.
So this is a 2-liter ice cream machine. Now it doesn't mean you can put 2 liters of mix into it at all. I'll show you how much you can put in. It's up to the level of the paddle. And these are really not expensive. This is the larger model. There's a smaller model which is cheaper. And all it is this plastic sleeve which was in the freezer overnight, and then a paddle that goes in, and there's a kind of gear on the bottom so that this can rotate. So what happens is we're going to put the ice cream mix in, and this is going to spin and scrape the sides. That's why this is so cheap, because it's really simple. It doesn't break. You just have to remember to put it in the freezer a day before. I much prefer this to the ice cream machines that freeze.
I'm worried about this.
Yeah, because the ice cream machines that freeze, the really common problem is when they stop, you have hard ice frozen to the sidewalls, which have to be super cold. And there's no way to dig it out. So that's not great. I do own an ice cream machine that has a removable sleeve, and that's super fantastic. That's the best one I've ever seen, but I've only ever seen that for sale in Europe. All right. So what we're gonna do is turn this on.
So we're basically just pouring this in.
Yeah, and what we're doing is pouring in, and let's go to the top camera here, and if you can see the level of this, we're going to basically go right to the level of the paddle, but no higher.
No higher, okay.
All right. All right, and that actually turns out to be exactly what we've made.
Amazing.
And that's just luck.
And this takes what, half an hour?
Yeah, this, if all your ingredients are cold, no, you're good right there. All right. Let's go to camera 1. Okay. If all your ingredients are cold, this will take about a half hour. And in fact, the ice cream just is so much better if you start with cold ingredients. So I prefer making everything ahead of time, put it all in the refrigerator, and it starts up. I'm also making the maximum capacity of this thing. So if things are not cool, it might not actually hard freeze. What's also nice about this is that if it freezes too much, it's no big deal. All that happens is the ice cream just crawls at the sides, and this thing just stays cold. So in a half hour, I'll check. In 45 minutes, I can come back. It would still be okay. If I wait an hour, it would probably start to melt then. So quite handy if you've got other things you need to do. So this is gonna spin around. We're gonna put this in the other part of the studio, and hopefully when we finish the other videos, we'll have ice cream we can eat.
Awesome.
All right, I'm gonna put this into, yeah, that's right. Welcome back, and in this episode we're going to try and make eggnog, and by try I mean we've never done it before. And so the measurements are going to be, we'll see, we'll figure them out as we go. Now we have made a ice cream base, which is essentially a thick custard. We've also made a chocolate milk thickened with egg. So we're slowly getting a repertoire as the people who use an espresso machine to cook eggs. What's wrong with that? So today, 2 recipes. We're gonna make a boozy eggnog, and then we're also gonna make a coffee eggnog, which is just a variation on that. All right, so let's get started. With the egg base, the egg ice cream base, we use 250 mils of cream, 250 mils of milk, and 2 eggs. So I'm gonna be doing less than that this time. I'd like it to be a little thicker, but I'm just not making nearly as much because that's 2 liters of ice cream. So we're going to try 1 egg, essentially halving the recipe, okay? And we're going to drop the liquids down to, I think we're going to try 150 mils of milk. And the reason is that we're not going to cook it as thoroughly as we did the ice cream base, and also we're adding caramel, which is going to also thin it out. We're going to add some booze, which is also going to thin it out. So I don't mind putting less milk in because so much other stuff is coming in afterwards. After all, we can always add more milk if we're wrong. So, all right, let's get me an egg, please.
There you go.
All right.
Start with an egg.
And I am using a whole egg. There we go. Thank you. And let's use a little rag here to clean my hand. And I'll need milk next.
Yep. There you go.
And we're going to do 150 mils of milk. Okay. And if you could bring the caramel over.
Yeah.
So we had 300 grams of caramel in a 500 gram base of ice cream.
First here.
So there's our caramel sauce. This is a salted caramel that we made in another episode. And so we had 500 grams of an ice cream base, and we added 300 grams of this. That was fantastic, but we decided it tasted best as a drinking drink with 200. Okay, so halving that again would be 100, would be 250, but we're down more on 150. So I think we're gonna go down to something like 70.
Okay.
Right? So
and then we'll do taste.
Instead of 200, half of that would be 100, and we're doing a little less than that because we have a little bit less drink. So we're gonna do 70. We have tared.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We're almost at 79. It's fine.
All right. slightly over.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Now it looks like I forgot to wipe the steam one from the chocolate milk we just made, but it's surprising that is going to come off.
Yeah, it cleans pretty easy. Yeah,
So that is totally clean now with just a wet rag. Okay, so anyone who's super worried about heating things, the key really is to just not heat them super hot for a long time. Chocolate milk, we heated to 70, I believe, with the egg.
Yeah.
So that was the chocolate milk with an egg in it. Went to 70, and even that just cleaned right off, 10 seconds.
Rag, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to blend this so that then we can heat it, and that's basically our custard before we flavor it. And since this isn't that much liquid, I'm going to use a vessel. I've got one. That's fine. Guys, I have brand new milk jugs that I brought over just in case we ran out of vessels. So that is the eggnog base, and it's that color because of a mix of caramel and egg.
Right.
All right. Let's take that off camera. Next, I'm going to use a thermometer, and I'm going to set this to, let's say, 80. 80 Celsius. 80 Celsius because I would like to get the egg to be cooked a bit. Also, I have no flavor ingredients at this point, which would be adulterated by heat. All right, and I do have a fairly good quantity in there, so I think I can get away with not having...
This is basically good for one drink, like...
This will be plenty for the two of us.
Oh, really?
It's going to be pretty rich. Okay. So here we are turning.
That's good.
Now, let's see if you can see it better that way. You can.
And the flow rate doesn't matter right now?
I think the flow rate's pretty violent because I'm not that worried about making foam. This is going to foam on its own just from the steam, and also the fact that it's getting quite thick.
Yeah.
Here we are approaching 60 Celsius, and for some reason between 60 and 70 is when this sounds the harshest, and then after 70 it starts to mellow again. And I think that as we cook, you can see we're at 12, and now it's rising really quickly as it thickens.
Oh, it smells so good.
And there we are at 80, and I'm going to just slide this out this way. Let the steam one purge. And then remember to give it a clean. Cleaning it right away means it won't dry on it. All right, do we have any cups around here?
Yeah, we have many cups.
We have many cups. Actually, I've got some cups. Well,
yeah, here.
Here we've got two here that are transparent.
Okay.
So let's go with those. So I'm not going to serve as much because I would like to have a bit left.
Yeah, for the boozy.
For the boozy and the coffee. All right, and this is for the staff behind the camera.
Oh.
All right, time for us to taste.
It's probably hot. It's steamy.
Camera one.
Yeah, there you go.
Camera one. All right.
There you go.
It is steamy. We have lots of foam.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we've got caramel and egg smell.
Oh, lovely.
That is really delicious.
It's like drinking like a toffee kind of.
Yeah, like a toffee.
Yeah.
Like a toffee. So I would say if you're going to do it booze free, like we have, you should add cinnamon or clove to this.
Cinnamon or clove, exactly. That would basically make it a classic eggnog without the booze.
Eggnog, yes. However, our plan was to add a spiced rum, because a spiced rum will typically have things like cinnamon and clove or vanilla.
Can we do Fireball? I like Fireball.
We could do Fireball. We'll have to do that some other time.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Add a little bit of heat could be interesting. So could you grab the Filipino rum, which is a spiced rum. It is strong on vanilla and oak. It should work really well with this. And what I'm gonna do is
Yeah, we should probably.
I'm gonna top it up slightly.
Yeah.
And once
And pay
again,
attention to the weight.
and once again, I'm gonna go for the 10%. So that's
Yeah.
about 50 mils. I think it's 40 mils is what it is. And what we did is we did 4 grams. There we go, that's 5 grams there.
I'll give it a little bit of a stir.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit to yours in a second.
Sure.
Thank you. So you do have to stir it because this is
Yeah.
not gonna mix in.
No, it wouldn't.
I'm cheating you here.
Uh-oh.
All right, 3.6. I'll give you a little bit of eggnog.
Yes, please.
And you'll want to give that a stir as well.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty boozy actually.
All right, and here we go. Yeah, I mean, I think eggnog should put you to sleep. So, oh my God, that's good.
Oh yeah.
That's
We're shooting on this.
that is such a
3rd of
winner.
December.
That is actually better than the chocolate one
Oh yeah.
because now the rum is just coming really through, and
And it's also like that little burn of alcohol that doesn't really. It's just like it's warm.
it's warming.
Yeah,
that's
it
right.
doesn't burn. It actually, yeah, makes you feel warm.
So there is an alcohol called avocat out there, which is a custard, except it's pasteurized and it's in, it's shelf stable and it's nasty. This is, I think, what they were thinking of was alcohol and fresh eggnog. This is awesome.
So good.
All right, let's now try and mix this with a little bit of coffee. Now, I don't know how much either. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a shot of espresso that we already made,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna add coffee to it. Now, I also think we're gonna taste it with just coffee, but I'm probably gonna booze it up again. So those of you who are following up on the Decent Espresso drinking game, you should be on your 3rd slug now.
Just like us.
Yes. The thing is, it really holds its thickness.
Yeah.
So that was 1 egg, 150 mils of milk, and then and we had 75, actually about 80 of a salt caramel, blended that, and then we added booze, but you could have at that point just added clove, well actually you could have put clove or cinnamon powder in before you heat it. That would have been
Yeah.
a good idea to do it then.
What I'm really impressed with is 2 things: the consistency of it, and also that it doesn't disintegrate. Like everything blends in so well. And it's such a simple, like I've always thought making something like this, you just
Yeah.
need like a crazy kitchen and
I know
a lot
people
of
buy it
appliances.
in the grocery store because they think it's really difficult.
Yeah.
But espresso machine steam wand, possibly more useful than the espresso machine itself.
Yeah, actually.
All right, so here
yeah.
we have a espresso that Paul made. This is a medium dark roast. This is going to be kind of chocolatey already. So in theory, this should make us have like a kind of chocolate custard. That's what we should have here. So I am going to, and Paul, this is a 36 gram out shot, or what is this?
This is a 20-gram shot.
20 grams out,
15 in, 25 grams out.
25 grams out. And is this one of your low temperature
Yes, it
shots?
is.
Okay, so back to me here. Paul's espresso that he's made here is a technique from our espresso in the 80s video, where he's making espresso from a medium dark to dark roast bean, starting at 80, coming down to 72 Celsius, and it's cut quite short. It's not a long pull, but it ends up being really just big in flavor. It doesn't have that kind of mono flavor that a dark roast has. And I'm looking forward to it mixed in with things, because I really don't like dark roast coffee in ice cream. I just think it's nasty because it's this single mono flavor, and it just isn't interesting. Whereas light roast coffee in ice cream is big and interesting, and of course chocolate, if you get the right stuff, is big and interesting. So kudos to Paul for making us an interesting bean. Let's see how it holds up here. So this
All right.
is 20, is what you said, 25. So let's just start with 1 to 1. So I'm going to put 25 in here. Okay, and boy, does that not look promising. Actually, what it really looks like here, and it's actually nothing wrong, this is a cousin to the affogato that's just recognize that vanilla ice cream frozen in an espresso shot is one of the world's best things. And so this is just a warm version of that. So that's what we're looking at. Can I have a spoon from behind you over there? All right. So here we go. That doesn't look bad. You know,
No, it doesn't.
This might just taste like the end of an avocado. Like when you run out of
when
ice
it's
cream.
like when it's melted a bit and
Yeah.
it's blended together. Yeah.
Now the thing here is this isn't going to be all that warm.
I mean, the shot has been sitting for a bit as well.
Yes. All right, and I think I'm going to move us to.
Different glasses.
Yeah, I've got. Unless you've got glass there, I'm going to
I
give
mean, we
us.
can just rinse them quickly as well.
Hmm.
The pitcher rinser here.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
There you go. Clean. Happy days.
It is clean. Can you give it a try with that?
Yes, sir. Dope your glasses. Sold on our website.
All right, and what I'm going to do here, actually, I think one more spoon if I could,
Yeah.
so I don't make a mess.
Spoon, not sold on our website.
Not on our website, but as seen on TV. All right, I'm just going to do that. Now I think my problem with this is that it's just not going to be warm, and I really want eggnog
Right.
to be warm. It's too much like espresso for me.
The coffee is too strong.
Yeah, way too strong.
I think you need to add more of the eggnog.
All right, I'm going to do 20 because I did steal some coffee out. So I think that that's still nowhere near enough.
No, I mean, that's basically an espresso shot still.
Yes. So let's go to 40. And you see as it's cooling, it's actually getting thicker. All right,
Yeah.
we've gone to 50. And
So that's basically what, 3-1 now?
yes, that is exactly what it
Okay.
is. All right. There's a different color.
Yeah.
I think we're still going to be too strong.
Let's see.
I think one espresso is giving us a lot more flavor than we expected. That's pretty good.
So much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where we want it to be.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't mind.
It's still a little strong on the coffee side,
Yeah.
but this is delicious.
Now,
If you're into coffee, like obviously both of us are, this is really good.
it is good. I am going to add some Disaronno because I think this is just giving me this wide chocolatey flavor
Yeah.
from the coffee and then the egg custard flavor. So if you could get me the Disaronno, that's great.
There you go.
So we think we're about 80 now
Yeah.
total. I'm going to go with that 10% rule. So I'm just going to add 8 mils of alcohol to this. Or 12. Glug.
Hold up.
All right, well, I glugged in 12.
Uh-oh. All right.
Wow, the thickness is beautiful on that.
Oh yeah, it's also, it looks more consistent again.
Yes. All right, let's give that a taste. So this is with 13% or so Disaronno. I'd drink that all day.
Nice, nice, yeah. Yeah, I think you nailed this one.
Yep. So what we did is we took an espresso and then we added 3 times that much of
Wow.
the eggnog mix that we made. And then we added roughly 10% of Disaronno, amaretto, almond flavor. And now we've got something that is a really beautiful coffee, eggnog, boozy delight. 4 shots. 4 shots. All right. Thank you for drinking along with us. Give this a try. Let us know how you get on.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Okay, do we have any questions?
More sort of comments. It's
Yep.
3 a.m. in EST. Way ahead of you. It'd be neat to try a deviation on the flip cocktail, which
obviously not a drinker myself, so I'm not sure.
I have no idea what a flip cocktail is, but I'm going to look it up now. That sounds interesting.
Oh yeah, okay.
Bugs is a cocktail drinker, cocktail maker, so I'm sure she's Googling right now. It is Friday.
The same person gave us a thumbs up and a drunk face. Blank, cheers to you. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Any final thoughts?
Well, we do
how the experiment went?
have ice cream to go fetch.
Oh yeah.
So we have
While you guys are still
one
here,
more. I know
yeah.
it's 3 a.m. on the east coast of America, but what else do you have to do at night?
I mean, it is
Sleep,
Thursday
but-
night, isn't it, for them? Probably have to work tomorrow,
Yeah. Oh.
unlike us.
This is true.
Yeah. All right, let's grab the ice cream.
Yes.
I think it has been like half an hour, basically.
I'm heading over to the bathroom where the ice cream is blending away, and if it's not solid, then that will be in this video.
Yeah.
Back in a minute.
All right, I'll clean up a bit.
I just came back from the bathroom where I've been hiding the ice cream maker because it's kind of loud. And it's been about 30 minutes, and the ice cream is just about ready. Now, normally I would freeze it a little bit more. Let's go to the top camera and you can see what it looks like.
Yep.
So normally, let's see. Can you hear me on this one? That's better? Okay. So normally I would wait until this is no longer moving, until essentially it's set hard. But this looks really good. This is essentially what people call freshly churned ice cream. So I'm gonna turn the machine off in a second, but this is my favorite way to serve it, is you just stick a spoon in it, like this.
While it's moving.
And while it's moving, and then just bring it out like that.
Nice. And we do actually have a little bit of spare salted caramel.
We could put salted caramel in this, but it is already caramel ice cream, so there are limits to
how sweet you can go.
All right. So I am going to, oh, you know what? Do we have a fourth cup?
Yeah.
Let's give one to Alan as well.
Yeah. Let me just try it quickly.
Okay. Here, Paul.
This is yours. Thanks very much, John.
And actually, I'll just give this one to you.
Yeah.
And these do not have any booze in them. If you survive this long without drinking, you're still safe. So that one is yours,
There you
Mohammed.
go.
Let's go back here. So let's go to camera one. Great.
There you go, ice
So
cream.
There is the ice cream, you know, and it's pretty awesome. That is the right consistency.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Mouth feels good.
Paul is making very
know.
satisfied faces.
And it's got so much air. Now I think part of why it has air is because we do blend the mix right before I put it in.
Yeah.
So it's already all whipped up. But there's no ice crystals to that. It's just gorgeously smooth.
No.
The
You
caramel
can
is
freeze
not
it a
sweet.
bit more if you want it to
Totally.
be a little bit more solid. But this is just, it's very fluffy. It's
Yeah, it's fluffy and it has just the right amount of flavor. The caramel, even though we put a lot of caramel in, is not that sweet. It's just giving a ton of
It
flavor.
doesn't overpower it. No.
Yeah, and the caramel is so complicated. It's almost like chocolate.
In fact, I would have put a little bit more salted caramel, but it doesn't need it.
It's really quite good. So
I can't believe we made ice cream from scratch like this.
I made
So
ice
easy.
cream from scratch, and we used, just to recap the whole thing, we started with an ice cream base, which was 250 mils of milk, 250 mils of cream, and 2 eggs. We put it into a blender. We heated it up to, I believe, 92 Celsius.
Yeah.
We then put that into our refrigerator and let it sit for a day. Then we made a caramel sauce, a salted caramel sauce. That was 500 grams of sugar and a liter of cream. Then we let that cool. Then we took our frozen sleeve and we blended 200 grams of caramel with our ice cream base that we had. Sorry, we blended in 300 grams of caramel with the ice cream base.
Yeah.
Whipped that up, put that into the ice cream machine, waited approximately 30 minutes, ate it, and we were very happy. So those are all the steps to making ice cream. Now you know.
Yeah, now it's very easy. I would probably try to make it at home myself.
Yeah,
I
well,
also
you
have a
can
decent
make it
at
for
home.
all 3 of us.
There you go. I will try.
All right.
Thanks for sharing the journey with us. Try it at home and let us know what you think.
Bye.
Bye.
Crazy good.
Oh, that was so good.